5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition. Strap in.
You're listening to Hit.OR.DIE Live. Here's your host, Jake HIT.OR.DIE and Chad Rockford.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hit.OR.DIE Live. You heard it, the host, Jake HIT.OR.DIE and Chad Rockford. Just want to thank you again for listening. I know we've been putting out a lot of content, but hey, when you got the World Series stuff going on and playoffs, we got to try to get it to you guys. And we know how much you love to hear what we think about things. So we're all here for you.
It's all love.
It's all love.
Please go follow the podcast on Twitter at Hit.OR.DIE Podcast, Instagram at Hit.OR.DIE, and the ever-going YouTube challenge.
I think it's on pause right now.
Is it? It might be on pause. Go subscribe on YouTube, like, comment, whatever. More importantly, share it. That's the big thing. Share it with your friends, kids.
Share it with your enemies.
Just share it. Sharing's caring. We've said that before.
That's my kids say that. Sharing's caring when they got it. Hey, CJ, give your sister that. Sharing's caring.
The store's open. The Hit.OR.DIE store is been open since Friday.
Yeah.
It'll close in another week and a half or so. So be sure to go check that out. There is the only thing I don't think we mentioned is there's the patched logo hat. There is a limited quantity of those. So I've got to check to see where we're at on those. But yeah, please go check out the store. Anyway, you can additionally help Hit.OR.DIE. Again, it'll close in another week or so. We also will be announcing the giveaway. It's official. We'll announce it tonight, or what are we doing with that?
I thought we were going to announce on the show.
Are we? I
don't know. We don't even know.
I haven't put all the names
We had
together.
more people come
today,
so maybe we'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll just extend it.
Yeah, we'll extend it one more day.
One more day. So tonight we'll cut it off at midnight or something. We'll figure it out, and we'll announce the winner of the giveaway of the hats, shirt, glasses, the keychain.
Awesome keychain.
The keychain's the thing. We'll do that later. But again, yeah, please go check out the store. Other things over the weekend, the Fresno State Bulldogs get the dub. Football team wins on the road at Wyoming.
Couldn't even watch the game.
No?
Where?
It was on Fox Sports 2, I think.
Oh, yeah, I got that. It was in like a weird channel. I found it later on.
But they do pick up the dub on the road, which is a great way to rebound. Not in typical fashion. A little more running the football. I don't even think Hainer threw for over 100 yards.
No.
A couple touchdowns. But the big thing is this weekend. Homecoming this weekend at Fresno State, hosting Nevada, who I believe is leading the Mountain West and 5-1 right now. So a good football game, another good football team. And even more importantly, it's homecoming. Again, at Bulldog Stadium, 4 p.m. Saturday. They're retiring Lolo, Lorenzo Neal's number 22 at halftime, which might be like up there as my favorite Bulldog football player of all time. Up there, like one or two, maybe even top three. I actually I got to see him wrestle too while he was at Fresno State, and the guy was just huge. I think he wrestled in like I forget what weight.
Probably the heavyweights.
I think it was like 270 or 275. Yeah. So
I think the heavyweights start at a weight, but it doesn't matter. You can be, however big.
So him and my dad were pretty tight. My family had done the chain gang for years, and I couldn't go to a game for some reason. And so he said, "Hey, I'll be wrestling at so-and-so date." And so I got to go see him wrestle a couple times, and just a good guy, man. One of my favorite Bulldogs. Definitely overdue to retire number 22, though. Lamore High, Lorenzo Neal.
Now, is it actually, it's not getting retired. It's
going, yeah.
It's going up there.
Yeah.
Sweeney's number's retired, but Hainer's wearing it.
That's true.
Which I think that's how it should be.
Sure.
I think, retire the numbers up in the stadium where they're seen, and you can be like
or honor the player.
Even put the name under it where okay, Lorenzo Neal wore 22, Derek Carr 4, David 8, 12, and so on. But then let somebody else wear that and have that tradition of wearing that number to try to be like that person or put another number like that up on the in the stadium. That's just the way I feel because, I mean, we've had this conversation before. The Yankees have 1 through 10's gone, 1 through 11 even. So it's just like, let those numbers get retired, but let them still be worn. Because some people look, Derek Jeter's my favorite player. I want to wear number 2 for the Yankees. That number will probably never be worn again by the Yankee. Why? That doesn't mean you're not honoring him by somebody not wearing him. I mean, what if there's a guy that wanted to be Derek Jeter and wants to wear that number?
Well, most people growing up pick their numbers based on their favorite players.
Exactly.
So I agree with you. I don't see
even
the problem with that.
Tulo, he couldn't wear 2 when he went to the Yankees because he wore 12. And I think Derek Jeter was already retired by the time he went to the Yankees. Well, obviously they picked up Tulo because they were trying to, figure out a shortstop situation. But he didn't wear 2. It's just, I mean, and Tulo wore 2 because of Derek Jeter. I don't know. But anyways, taking off topic, his number, yes, you're right. It's overdue. It needed to have been retired already. I just hope it could still be worn. Yeah,
and so, I mean, it's a big game, too. The Dogs have off to still a great start and, again, control their destiny. Again, it's a tough schedule coming up ahead for them, but let's if you can get out there to support the Dogs, get out there. Friday at 4 p.m., Bulldog Stadium. I believe the game's on FS2. They're saying it'll be elevated to FS1 if the MLB ALCS does not have a Game 7. And it's not looking like there may be a Game 7 in the ALCS.
Yeah, there will be.
We'll see. We're going to get into that. But some other news from around baseball. I saw this morning. Major League Baseball is in talks to launch nationwide streaming service for home games without cable TV, possibly in 2023. The NHL and NBA are considering partnering with the MLB on the new service. Now, they're still saying that your other sources of, purchasing the extra innings or whatever that is, I believe, are still going to be available only because the rights for some teams aren't all owned by Major League Baseball. There's some other company, and then there's details within that. So the plan is to launch a streaming service for home games. So I don't know how that. I know teams get blacked out now.
Yeah, but what? So say I won't say the. Okay, say the Mariners are playing. I can only watch their home games, but they're playing the Angels. I'll just go watch the Angels home game.
Right.
So I don't get it. Can't you just stream all the games?
Well, it'll be through Major League Baseball. They're talking about a monthly fee of $10 to $20 a month.
Yeah, but so I can only pick one team?
I'm not quite sure. They didn't even get into those details.
That's what it's making it sound like. But if it's not that, then
they're just saying that this is an avenue they're looking at going. They're approaching it and they're discussing it and looking at ways to make this a new service.
To make more money.
Sure. And there's other ways to do that. We were talking over the weekend, you and I, about the playoff format. Where you go a 3-game wild card and 7-7-7. Just in TV.
Not even only 7-7-7. I like the 3-3-1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 3 home, 3 away, and then 1 back at the home.
Yeah. I mean, and then people are like, oh, well, if they win 4 in a row, we only see 1 game at home. Yeah, well, then you should have been home field advantage. You should have been the higher seed. I feel like because the 2-3-2, I think the visitors have the advantage in the 2-3-2 or 2-3-1-1, however they do it. How come we get 2, they get 3, and then back to us? It should be 3-2-1-1 or however they do it. That's why you do 3-3. I feel like even though you have the home field, yeah, you get the first 2 games, but the next 3 are the most crucial. Because even if you're down 0-2, you're away for 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. I like it.
So that's why it kind of makes me mad. Even the Dodgers not being the home team, you still get 3 games at home. They got 2, you get 3. Out of the first 5, you have the first 5 games, you have more games at home. That makes no sense to me. What's the point of being the higher seed if in the first 5 games you don't have more home games?
Well, and could you imagine if the Braves, after what's happened the first 2 games, have a third home game?
Why not?
I'm saying now there's
Didn't
a
they
travel
earn
day.
that?
There's a travel day.
There's no travel day.
Exactly.
There wouldn't be.
There wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But now there's a travel day, and they're on the road, and it's like there's been a little bit of dent in their momentum.
Yeah.
Whereas you play a game 3 last night in Atlanta, who knows?
Well, and that's why I liked the last year playing at the neutral site. There were no
days off.
There were no days off. You saw what a team's made of. And I think bringing the 3-3-2 or 3-3-1 will do that too, because you only get 2 days off if you do it that way. Because if you do 2-3-1-1, I mean, you're getting days off in between all the games. It's just, I don't know. I just think that's a better format. But again, who am I?
Hey,
I'm nobody.
Don't sell yourself short. But I like it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Because in actuality, it doesn't even matter if you're the visiting team. Because guess what? You still get 3 games at home with no days off. You know what I mean? So you can take the momentum. The momentum can shift. All that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I just getting somebody's listening live, sending me a text. Good friend of mine, Jeffy, talking about MLB.
Jeffy?
Jeff. I call him Jeffy.
You know a movie that's
No.
What's the one with?
Apparently, you don't either.
No, his name's Jeffy, and he goes to the Paralympics and competes. It's
The Ringer.
The Ringer.
Johnny Knoxville. Yeah.
Isn't his name Jeffy in that?
Yeah,
one?
it is. That's what he. I'm not even going to bother to read this text now.
No, why not?
He's just talking about the services. There's MLB TV games that are blacked out in your local markets, which again I think is ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Like Giants, A's, and that's probably because of CBS. CBS.
Yeah, but then sometimes you can't even get those on the Comcast. They're the Bay Area channel because they have them on the MLB network, but then it's blacked out. It's just ridiculous.
And apparently, I said the football game's Friday. So, thanks for listening. Listening live.
Is it Saturday?
It's Saturday.
It is Saturday.
Yeah, it is Saturday. Saturday at 4. I might have corrected that at the end there.
Which the Taco Throwdown is Saturday, I heard, at Fresno Grizzly Stadium.
Saturday?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Other news in baseball. Yeah, so we'll have to see how that develops because I know
won't develop.
There's a company that has that has 14 teams that they work with as far as TV rights.
So, that one, yeah.
We'll have to see how that works. But the other news is the New York Yankees have agreed to a deal with Aaron Boone and keeping him with the New York Yankees as their manager. 3-year deal, but have let go a few coaches. One being third base coach Phil Nevin will not be back with the New York Yankees. Hitting coach Marcus Timms and PJ Pelletieri, the assistant hitting coach, is also out in New York. And you kind of asked the question. I think everybody was why Phil Nevin?
Well, I mean,
and they're pretty tight. Nevin and Boone are close.
I mean, if it's because of the play against the Red Sox, that's just no reason to fire a guy. And I don't see any other reason that it would be, knowing that organization, which I don't know that organization. I'm just assuming. And then, I mean, they were still a 100-win team, and you're getting rid of their hitting coaches. I don't know. That makes no sense to me.
Is it another situation? At what point do your players need to perform?
Well, they did.
To get over that hump, though, to win. Like, is Nevin the scapegoat for one play? I mean, that doesn't...
Yeah.
He's a good third base coach.
He's a great third base coach. And who's to say... You know what I mean? We would be talking about Ron Washington the same way they talked about Phil Nevin if Rosario's thrown out and Albies is thrown out.
And the situation, though, and again, we're going to get into Ron Washington and that whole situation in that game, but like, if we just want to go into it, you know, I mentioned I'm a little more conservative. I'm not sending Rosario in that spot. They're chasing 2. They're down 2, 1 out. You know, it was a shallow ball in a right field, right at Souza. He didn't have to go very far, and you know, you're first and third in that situation with Riley coming up. You know, he rolled the dice and won, and like you said, you know, if he's out, are we saying the same thing? And I get it, with 2 outs, you still have a shot with Riley at the plate to do damage and tie the game up with 1 swing. So I get taking the risk. Me personally, I may not take that risk. That's all. But you're right. And I don't know. They haven't said why. Nobody's come out and commented on why.
if Phil Nevin, if that whole, say they won the wild card, are they even there? Are they even fired? Probably not.
Win the wild card and lose in the division series?
Yeah.
Is he still fired? Yeah, it's a great
Probably
question.
not.
Probably not.
But let's go, hire a bunch of these freaking non-baseball playing front office guys that, make decisions. Like, put one of those pantsuit guys in that situation to have a runner sent home and stuff, They can't do it. They don't have the baseball instincts or the knowledge to do that job. Then you're going to fire somebody. Fire the hitting coach. They had a 100-win season and a lot of injuries and a lot of things to go through. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I don't get it, but it is what it is. He's out at that.
Yep.
But to see where they go from here, as far as hiring guys, I had to fill in those spots in New York. But
I just got a call from them from hitting coach. I turned it down.
You'd be stupid to do so. I would tell you to leave.
Why? So I get fired
Well,
in a year?
So what? Would you really be? That would be your concern? You'd be gone in a heartbeat.
No, they don't get paid.
What are you talking about?
They're not the head coach.
Yeah, but they still get paid. What are you trying?
I've had some conversations.
You trying to make the big bucks?
Well, no, I wouldn't go.
I think you would. I think anybody would. I would.
Maybe if it was the Dodgers, I'd go.
Good stuff. Hey, Major League Baseball making some more moves, and I definitely wanted to get your take on this. Major League Baseball or minor league baseball gets a win finally. MLB will require teams to provide housing for minor league players in 2022. You played in the minor league system, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners, there's a lot of guys out there that played professional baseball, minor league baseball. Get into how big that is.
Where's my check? Where's my back pay?
Get into it.
Where's my check? Great. This is all the minor leaguers complained and can't handle the lifestyle, which I get. It's a tough lifestyle. It's not pretty, but there are some places where it's good. You have a good host family that, like Gamboa, and he was set up, right? He had a great setup. And then there's other ones where you're staying in a shitty hotel or apartment complex and got to fend for yourself. Like, I get that. To provide housing is huge, and it should have been done a long time ago. But I think it just comes with the complaint. There's a lot of complaining, and it's a small price to pay to hopefully live out your dream. And if you talk to any minor leaguer that had to go through the struggle, even if they didn't make it, like I didn't make it, wasn't even close, I wouldn't take back any of that experience for the opportunity that I had to play in the big leagues, possibly. And that's being an affiliate. You're on an affiliated team. When you're in indie ball, it's different. You're not playing for an affiliate team.
Yeah, but you know what you're getting into. When you get into indie ball,
when you're getting into indie ball, you're kind of like it. You're not getting paid anything close to even what you got paid in minor league baseball with the affiliate team. So you're just trying to get back in. But when you're with an affiliate team, you're seriously willing to do anything to try to make it.
I think but that's part of the problem is that the system's taking advantage of that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And the players pay the price for that. I think it's great, and again, it's a W for minor league baseball. But also, I think the pay should have been the first thing to address.
Yeah,
because they're talking about using it as possibly in a stipend form to cover their housing.
But all housing is going to be different wherever you are.
It's going to be up to the organization, I believe. They're just Major League Baseball is just going to require it.
Yeah. I mean, but like I was paying my host family $100 a month. Well, that's nothing really, but it is because I was only making like $600 a month or like 700. I don't know. It was under 1,000.
And that's what I'm saying.
Like there's people that live in apartments though that pay more, than $100 a month. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I honestly, I rather would have got paid more. But I guess, but if you're taking care of housing, then I probably wouldn't go live with a host family now. If you're going to take care of housing, I'd rather, but then again, I don't know. I love living with a host family because guess what? They took, they gave us a car. You got to get with a good one though. They dinner, food.
I would love to hear some of the horror stories of host.
I had a bad first one when I was at the Giants. Plus we lived 45 minutes away. It was like in the country. I was in Oregon. It was terrible. It was like a 45-minute drive. They only had a stick shift car, so I couldn't drive stick shift. Luckily, my roommate could. So we drove to the field and back every time. They did nothing for us except just supplied the car just because, they kind of have to when you're a host family. But the food and everything, like nothing else for us. We didn't have anything. And then they were kind of just weird. It was a weird family. They weren't a baseball family. They rarely went to the games at all to support. And they were just kind of weird. And they had a son he was like kind of weird too. And I know that this sounds bad with me saying it, but they were just like a weird family because when you're thinking of a host family, you're thinking of like a diehard baseball family that wants these guys.
Who volunteers for the job and is not involved in
so
what's going on.
That's what was kind of weird about it. Was like they were kind of just like weird people. Like, I don't know how else to explain it without, I'm not trying to they were nice though. Don't get me wrong. They were nice, they were just weird and they had some rules. Like you couldn't do certain things. We kind of had a curfew, which we didn't follow, but it was just like, I don't know. It was kind of weird. So we complained about it to the organization and, plus it's 45 minutes away. You're out drinking after the games. How are we going to get back? You didn't have Uber.
It's a personal choice.
We didn't have Uber, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, and the taxi wasn't going to take us through the forest to the house.
Well, no, so it's probably going to cost more than what your rent was going to be.
Yeah, so we ended up getting a new host family, which thank God it was open. And they've been host family every year. But for some reason, they were out of town, so they didn't take guys in yet. So when they came back, they were able to take us in, and they had a truck for us. They gassed it up every week. Like I said, meals. I mean, we did both sleep in the same room on a twin bed, Our feet were kind of touching, like he was just across the, the room. That was the only bad thing. We were sharing a room. But they were a baseball family. They were there every game behind the dugout, cheering for us and almost like a mother and father.
Do you still stay in contact with any of them?
I did. The name's Trussell. I hope they're still doing it up there. Amy was our house mom, Amy Trussell. She's awesome. I did for a little while after I was done playing. But again, when you're in the affiliate and then you're out, it's kind of like you're out, I still have her on like social media and like, that kind of stuff, but it wasn't my favorite house dad was my house dad in St. Louis. Bob, he was awesome. He had, and in St. Louis, they had upstairs in a basement. And we called the basement the Bat Cave because there was no windows or anything, so it would get pitch dark. And I love sleeping in the pitch dark. And I had like 4 or 5 roommates while I was there for a year and a half. But he was my favorite. He did whatever. We made a list of all the food we wanted. He was at every game. Bob, he passed away a couple of years ago, which was sad. But you just got to get lucky, man. And I've been fortunate with the couple host families I was lucky with, and a couple you don't, but you kind of have to deal with it. But then it makes me wonder, like, if I had the option of getting my apartment paid for, would I have done that? But then again, I got to go shop. I got to go, I have to have my own car somehow, transportation. So I don't know. I probably would have rather taken more money a month and been with a host family.
That's kind of where I was at too. I just think that, I'll take the money and I don't know. It's a step.
It's a step.
Something's happening. Some changes are being made. I think it's good for the game. It's good for these kids. But I also think you're right too. I think having to rough it is also good for the kids. It's good for you.
It makes you appreciate more.
Well, you don't take things for granted. And
Yeah. And I think that's what's good about, I wasn't fortunate enough to have a big leaguer come down and by spread or whatever, but I think that's key too, is these big leaguers come down. You hear stories. They come back and they, buy the spread and take care of everything. And that, as they should, they're getting paid millions of dollars while, guys in the minors are getting paid pennies.
well, and maybe somebody before them did that.
Yeah.
It's like a returning the favor type deal, pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
You hear those stories too. I like to hear those type of stories of the host family stuff, and having Gamboa, having Alec on a couple months back and seeing where he was at, it looked like a cool place. And he seemed to enjoy the family and where he was at, and it makes it maybe easier on you to where you're playing too. There's no stress. It probably makes a difference in even just your performance.
Yeah, no, and that's true. It's good to wake up happy knowing your house mom has breakfast or something for you, or if you want, it's there if you want it. And she always had dinner made at night after the game, even if we didn't come home and eat. It was always there. So I was very appreciative of that. And, it does. It makes you feel better about going to the yard and, almost like your parents. If you have a loving host family, it almost feels like my parent. Because I had a family member at every single game of mine growing up, except when I went to Oral Roberts, but it just felt that way, like a family. Like, that's my mom, like Amy was my mom. And I don't know why I can't remember the dad, but he was working all the time. He'd come to the games. We didn't see him that much, but yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah, I like hearing that stuff. Those are always cool stories to hear. And yeah, again, it's a win. It's a step in the right direction. I think they need to address the money issue because it's, what you made at the time to what they make now is not a whole lot different.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, and then they'll keep. I know that's not going to die, obviously, because they've made this, small progress here. I don't think the conversation is going to end. But getting into the actual postseason now, you've got the ALCS, Red Sox and Houston Astros. And the Red Sox are rolling. It's your bracket isn't looking solid. Well, it's done, but your pick for the ALCS is struggling. The Red Sox have scored 25 runs in 3 games and 32 hits in 3 games. And I wouldn't have I didn't expect to see that. Kike is on another planet. But also I'm kind of, my eyes are a little wide on how the Astros have done on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, the Astros have no pitching.
It almost begs the question of how did you get here?
Yeah.
And is there something to the division talk that we've made? I know people don't like to hear it because, the argument of what's the best division in baseball and their 2 teams with the most wins came out of the same division. You're having a division winner getting boat raced.
Yeah, and I think, making that statement's accurate. How bad the AL West is, and the Astros won the AL West. They played the White Sox, which the White Sox, we agreed, had better pitching, but offensively it was switched. Not saying the White Sox could hit. I mean, they had a pretty good offense, but it wasn't compared to the Astros. And the pitching, although it might have been better, they didn't show it.
Or maybe it's just the Red Sox are just locked in, man.
And that could be it too.
I mean, because the Astros are a good club.
But think about that. Think about the Red Sox too. You beat your division rival, and then
you have to go beat,
and then you beat another division rival,
the division winner, and now you're like, the AL East had to get through the AL East to get where they are.
And the AL East already knows that their division is better than everybody else, their league or whatever, the AL East. And if you get past the AL East, it's money. Nobody can beat us.
And there's no guarantees. Again, the Rays are a good team. There's no guarantees you win the East, you're moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're facing another AL East team.
Exactly.
I think you can question the strength of the AL West.
100%. You can question it.
People don't like that. That's all. People get
tough. Tough. Go look at the numbers. Come on. You can't. I mean, and I'm for the Astros. Don't get me wrong. I'm for the Astros, but you can't tell me the AL West is even close to the AL East. You put the dude. I bet you put the Orioles in there and they compete in the AL West. They don't have a 0.0 chance of not making the playoffs in the AL West. I guarantee you that.
That's a good point. There might be some accuracy into that. That's pretty funny to think about.
It is, right?
It makes me laugh. Yeah, I like that. But the Astros the Red Sox are locked in nobody else. I mean, 25 runs in 3 games.
Yeah.
The 10 hits, 11 hits, 11 hits. I think the Astros have got 3 errors to Red Sox 0, and the Red Sox are pitching.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to is the pitching, and they've just had really good pitching, steady pitching, and the Astros just haven't. I mean, and McCullers goes out. I think knowing McCullers is there, maybe they put pressure on themselves, but I don't know. They're big leaguers. They've been there before. But I'll tell you what, the offense needs to hit. They need to be like, they score 10, we score 11. They score 20, we score 21. That's how the offense needs to come out. They need to be like, we're getting fucking 10 runs scored on us today. What are we going to do to win? And you have to do that as an offense and try not to put as much pressure in it. And I know it's difficult to try not to put pressure on yourself to try to do something, especially being down 9-0 in the second or the third inning in 2 games out of, it's just like.
And the Astros they're plenty capable of scoring runs. It's not so much that side of the game.
But then again, we've also talked about this, especially at the levels we coach. How difficult is it to be on defense for 45 minutes and then come in knowing we have to score a run this inning?
Well, it's funny you say that. I just had this conversation Sunday at the Fresno State game with Mr. Watson, Austin Watson's dad. And we were talking about, I remember this postseason, deliberately calling time to go talk to hitters, especially if we put up 3 runs, just to burn another minute to keep the defense on the field, to keep the Valley title game. I did it twice deliberately. I had nothing to say to the hitters, nothing to say, but they'd been out there for 25 minutes, and I'm going to try to add another 5. And so for 2 other batters, I went to go talk to hitters. Nothing more than to just take more time, keep them out there longer. And sure enough, I think we ended up scoring some more. It turned almost like a 35, 40-minute inning. You know what I mean? So
it's a dick move.
Well, it is what it is. I'm trying to win. You know what I mean? But there's something to that.
No, yeah, for sure.
I just didn't and McCullers is big, right? And having said all that, the series is only 2-1.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's over.
No.
The optics are bad.
Yes.
And I don't.
It's just because how they got beat.
They got shelled.
Yeah.
Twice, 2 straight. And Greinke's going tonight. I mean, tonight's the series as far as I'm concerned, because you still got to play, you're that 3 games in Boston.
And Boston they're ranked first in every offensive category.
And they can win. They know how to
at home.
Yeah.
And they can rake at home. Greinke's got to come out, throw a gem. The Astros got to hit him early. They got to hit him in the face. And I think that's a testament of all these games in the playoffs. If you get hit in the face first, those teams have gone on to pretty much win the game.
Yeah.
The first team to score.
Yeah.
And you got to score early.
Yeah. It's Game 4 will be tonight. It's Greinke for the Astros, Pivetta for Boston, who's pitched really well in the postseason. It's going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to come down to tonight. I don't know what Game 4 or Game 5 looks like, but it's after the last 2 games, everything's steaming for the Red Sox. You just got to be careful because the Astros can swing it and they can put runs up. They can hit home runs just like the Red Sox have been doing. With what Rodriguez did last night with my time, kind of mocking Correa. I know it looked like Cora had a little issue with it, but you said that Correa said, after he didn't initially see it, but that he had loved it.
Yeah, I don't know how much truth that is to what Correa said. It's part of the game, man. I mean,
should Cora?
We're allowing the showboat. We're allowing the stop and watch the homer. We're allowing the the bat flips and the gestures, and who cares then? What's wrong with me punching your guys out, going into the sixth, and doing the same thing at you? There's no difference.
I mean, wouldn't we consider that karma?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know why he was so upset about it, Cora. Yeah.
Probably because he knows karma. I don't know. Maybe he thinks that if we're getting out of our element.
Just keep doing it.
We don't need to do that.
They hadn't done it at all throughout the postseason.
Kike's not pimping homers. Devers isn't pimping homers. Martinez, they're not pimping the homers on that side. And I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I mean, I
don't care either way. I wanted to get your thoughts on it because I felt like it is what it is. But
I think Cora was more mad that he did it and didn't have to.
Yeah,
we're already whooping that ass. You don't have to show him.
Do it on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and
I thought game 3 is kind of a weird time to do it. Like game 2 would have made more sense, right? Because that happened game 1.
Did it happen game 1?
I believe so. I think it was the game they won.
Yeah.
So to save it for 3 days later was a little odd, but either way.
I mean, but it's baseball. You save that shit from game 1 to game 162 sometimes. You just, whenever you feel like you want to bring it out. But I don't know. It is what it is. I don't think the Astros really care that much. Or maybe he'll be like, F that dude. Let's go put up a 9 spot on them now. So,
hey, again, having said all that stuff and how great the Red Sox look, again, and I picked them to win, it's still only a 2-1 series. If Greinke can hold it down a little bit tonight and make it 2-2, going back to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not over. I think, and maybe that's what Cora is like. Hey, there's too many outs left to get. There's too much, and it's the same scenario for the Dodgers, right? And let's go ahead and get into the NLCS. The Braves took a 2-0 lead coming back to LA. They play actually this afternoon, coming up here another hour and a half, which is weird. 2 p.m. West Coast game for the postseason. But both games ended in walk-offs. Saturday night, I believe it was Austin Riley walked it off, and Sunday was a wild one. Rosario walked off Jansen. And there's a lot to talk about there, but game 2 was back and forth. But there were some pitching decisions late that, honestly, I didn't really initially have a problem. I saw Urias in the bullpen getting loose. I think it was the 7th to come out in the 8th. And my was watching it with Andrina and my cousins, and my cousin Anthony's a big Dodger fan, and he didn't like it. And I was like, I don't mind it. I was telling him, I'm not sure what his bullpen day would have been, but, he's got to throw. He's been out of the pen before. It's not new. These are big leaguers again. Like these are the best at what they do. He's going to get, a travel day off. He's going to get today off, and then he'll make his game 4 start. Like I didn't really have that big an issue. He had a 2-run lead. I didn't think it was that big a deal. Like I didn't mind it. But it's also not what the Dodgers have done all year. So I get questioning it. But I wasn't that opposed to it. I don't know what you thought about it.
I mean, I didn't think anything of it either, except, because that's what he did last year in the World Series and everything. He came out of the pen and shut things down. The problem I had was going back to game 5 with, here's your dude, 20-game winner, 32 starts in the season, hasn't come out of the pen all year. And then in game 5, you start Knebel and do the whole opener thing, and then he comes in the 4th, throws 4. It worked out, but it didn't work out. It didn't, like I think, because it was still 0-0 when he came in the game. So what's the point? You know what I mean? You try to bring those openers in to get stuff shut down and score some runs.
And he was fresh.
Yeah, he was fresh.
He was fresh. He didn't have to
start day.
And that was what I kind of said the last episode is do you do that in a game 7 of the World Series? Are you making that same decision?
I don't think so.
Because the game 5 for them was do or die. So game 7's do or die. Would you do that in game 7? I wouldn't. I'm throwing my horse out there.
But then to see him come in the other day, it didn't bother me. Although he hasn't come out of the pen as much, that was the only thing bothering me. But he's done it before. I was listening to Bob Guerin's interview today. He said that the lineup matched him. They had it set up. So, I mean, they have so much information that we don't have of why they do things and who pitches where and what. For us to disagree with Roberts or agree with him or any of the managers for that matter, we don't know what they're looking at and how they make their decisions on the information they have, because their information they have is something we don't have.
And it's down
to the T. It's down to whatever. And it's easy for us to second guess something. But what if Urias went in there and shut it down? Again, we're not saying anything. That's what I'm saying. It's like if something bad happens, we're going to question it. If something good happens, we're going to say, man, that was a good decision. And that's what's wrong with baseball. It's because it doesn't freaking matter what. Any day is a different day. You don't know who is going to show up and do whatever they need to do.
Well, a good hitter is going to do what Riley did. He's going to hit a hanging pitch and drive it.
And then people are like, oh, maybe you should have walked him. Well, Albies was on first base. You're not going to walk and put Albies in scoring position.
It's a tie and run, yeah.
And Riley's a double play candidate. You're not going to do that. And it wasn't like there was 2 outs. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know about the Graterol thing. He comes in the 8th. You had
9th.
Or he came in the 9th.
Started the 9th. I know I was going to get to that also. Yeah, I don't
know why you don't start your closer that's been hot to start the 9th. Because Jansen has been good, and we know how the Dodgers, they hate him here and they hate him, and then, oh yeah, we love him. Make up your damn mind. But he's been hot. He's been good for you guys. So I don't know why they didn't bring him in and put Graterol in there.
Well, that's the thing. Why take Graterol out then? If you got him for 2, you got a broken bat single from Darno. You had a bunt that he almost threw away from Swanson. Mm-hmm. You had a swinging bunt essentially,
which the play Seager made on that bunt play to second base. You guys are all butthurt about the freaking ball he missed off Rosario. That saved the game in that situation.
Yes,
because 99 out of 100 times that pick from Graterol.
Now you're first and second, no outs, probably with a runner at third.
Yeah, you probably have first and third now
with no outs.
So
it was a big play.
It was a big play.
But that's where you're at right now. So not getting hit, right? A swinging bunt to third made the plays. 2 outs, runner at second base with Swanson, and then he makes the move to Jansen, righty to righty. And everybody knows what Jansen's going to throw, right? He's going to throw his cutter.
But he developed the curveball that he's been throwing a lot more.
But do you think, and this is where we don't have the numbers. This is where we don't know what they're thinking. This is where we don't, we're just opinion.
Yeah.
But do you think Rosario is like, oh, good, I don't have to see 102?
Yeah.
I get to see 93 that may not cut, and that's what he got was a 1 pitch that didn't cut?
I mean, for me, yes. For me as a hitter, even though Graterol throws a straight ball, it doesn't have that much movement. At times he does, but it's pretty straight. But I know what Jansen's going to throw at least 80 to 90% of the time. And it's going to be in to me as a lefty. I want that. I want that opportunity. Graterol, he'll throw 100 and whatever, but I don't know where it's going either.
And he has a little sink to it.
He does have a little bit, but not much. But I'd rather face Jansen. But I don't know if they thought that the opposite. Graterol throws more of a straight ball. It's easier to hit when Jansen, because he has been hot now and he's been striking guys out. He made the Giants look bad, in the series before. That they were like, we got to go with this guy to get the out. But then you got to look at this too. It's like, why don't you walk Rosario to get to Freeman? Rosario's 3 for 3, hot, seeing the ball well, obviously. You walk Freeman. Freeman's 0 for his last 7.
Did you force out up the middle also? Because the go-ahead run's already at second base.
Yeah.
He's already there.
Yeah, it was second. But
Freeman's an MVP. I get that, not doing it. But my thing with people saying, oh, they didn't want to lose the game with Graterol knowing that Jansen was in the pen, then you should have just brought Jansen in the 9th. Then why even fuck around with it? Yeah. Just bring him in.
But then again, we don't know.
I don't know. What I'm saying.
I don't have what they have in front of them.
The other thing is, Scherzer went 4 1/3, and I'm looking at the numbers, right? Kelly, Trinan, Urias, Gratterall, and Jansen combined for 45 total pitches. I think in the series so far, in two games, Kelly's got a total of 24 pitches thrown. Trinan's got 16 or 17 total pitches thrown. And Jansen has a total of 8 pitches thrown, 9 pitches. Why can't we extend these guys a little more? Well, these guys can't throw more than 12 pitches an inning. They can't come back out and throw another inning.
Or a game.
Or face 2 more hitters.
Yeah.
I mean, 12 pitches? 9 pitches? I don't understand why we can't use these guys.
I don't know. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they've been overworked.
And some people were saying that after game 2. Then maybe they're a little drained. You go game 5 in San Francisco, you hop on a plane, right? You have the time change. You know, you get there Friday.
Nah, don't give me that time change.
And then you play Saturday. I mean,
it's not that big of a deal.
Coming off of what happened on that game 5, maybe.
You still had a day off.
Not making excuses. I like that. And they're not either. Look at it. They're 2 walk-offs. It's like I was telling some people earlier. It could be 2-1, 2-0 flipped the other way.
Yeah, could be, but it's not.
It's not. 4 hits isn't going to get it done. Taylor had a shitty base running mistake there late. Mm-hmm. That could have cost them extending the inning there. Well, it ended the inning, actually. Which, turns out to give them some momentum. But I just felt like seeing the pitching there, throw these guys.
I agree with you, but then again, we don't know how they're feeling, what they talked about before the game. How many can you give me? Can you give me any?
I mean, looking at Joe Kelly's velo, look at these guys. He looks okay. He looks like he's fine.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So that was they're not. I mean, maybe the season has caught up to them a little bit. I get that. But as far as what I'm seeing throughout the postseason, especially this series, they haven't really thrown a whole lot. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
And then I want to get your take on Ron Washington.
Love it. I don't know. I just think he's great. I love him for how aggressive he is, how he just kind of just doesn't give a, you know what. Like, I'm going to do my thing. I don't know. I just feel like, and I think the players respect him for that. They know, like, when you see guys rounding third base, they're thinking they're scoring. You know what I mean? Like, you watch Rosario and Albies, even though they were really close plays, they weren't stopping. They weren't giving the opportunity to stop. Now, you go back to the Phil Nevin thing. Judge didn't know. He was almost getting ready to hold up at third. You know what I mean? So I feel like if you have a coach that's aggressive and always aggressive and you know it, I feel like they're willing to run through a wall for that guy, even though he's just.
Well, and they trust his decision making.
Yeah.
They didn't.
They didn't question it. They didn't hold up. They just were like, I'm scoring. And even though Rosario got a bad jump on that one.
But he also knew the situation, too.
Yeah.
Like, I want to try and score.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, I still probably don't send him. But having the score be what it was, 4-3, Albies on that ball, Riley hit to the center field or left center gap. I mean, that's automatic. I'm sending him. Yeah. That's the tie and run. You don't know how many more opportunities you're going to get.
Well, you got a lefty coming up with Jock.
Yeah, he's going.
Lefty.
You're sending that all the way.
Yeah.
And it worked out. Again, he rolled the dice and he won. But I just thought,
and that's baseball.
pretty ballsy with Rosario, I thought.
Well, it's ballsier. Rosario tagging up from first base.
Yeah, on Freeman's fly ball to left.
And Pollock wasn't playing it. It was a routine fly ball. I'm surprised he didn't throw him out. That actually, as a person that's played the game and that coaches at a level that you want to throw to the base or hit your cutoff, that kind of pisses me off that that's an opportunity lost on the Dodgers. That's a momentum shift. That was an easy, and people are like, oh, no, it was easy from where he was to catch the ball. And tell him, they're saying tagging. They're saying he's tagging. It's not like he catches it. Oh no, he's tagging. He's at first base tagging. Somebody's yelling that he's tagging. And Pollock came up throwing, and he was off the line by 5 to 6 feet. That can't happen. That's a freaking 90-foot throw, 100-foot throw. You got to freaking throw that guy out. You're a big leaguer. You're not throwing home. You're throwing to second base. Throw the guy out. And he would have been out by 10 feet.
Yeah, risky. It paid off again, though.
Paid off because then he scores.
Forcing a guy to make a play. And, the other thing that was getting really frustrating from a Brave standpoint while I'm watching is can we hold runners on? Like, it's like if can we slide step one time? Can we pick one time?
No.
If Betts, Seager, Turner, Taylor, any of these guys get to first base, just tell them, just let them go to second base.
You know why they don't? Because they don't run bases like this in the season. This is playoff baseball. This isn't 162 game baseball. This is playoff baseball. Now I'm gonna get the extra base. Now I'm gonna do this. Now I'm gonna do it. Why? Why now? Why not do that 162 games?
Yeah, you're seeing guys go on balls in the dirt.
Yeah. You're seeing guys advance because they want to win. Why don't you want to win 1 out of 162? You know what I mean? Like, every game means something. You should want to win it. You should want to play hard. You should want, you know what I mean? It's just like, why now? And I get it. It's play. You want to win a World Series. Why don't you want to win a World Series April 2nd? Like, Ricky Henderson he wanted to steal every bag in the world he got on base. He wasn't worried about having energy after 162. You got to get there first. And Ricky knew if I score runs, we'll have a good chance of getting there. How do I score runs? I got to steal second. I got to steal third. I got to walk and get on base.
Yeah, do things he does well.
You know?
No, I agree. I it's a long season. It's hard for me to.
But what I'm saying is the pitchers aren't used to that.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry. In 162 games,
it looks like it.
They don't have to worry about runners stealing.
I mean, d'Arnaud had no shot on any of them. None.
Yeah.
None of them were close.
Because in the season, nobody's stealing bases. Who had the most stolen bases? Was it 30-something? Ricky Henderson do that backwards. He's still 30 bags backwards. Like, that's what's ridiculous about the game of baseball is for them to think that a dude's in scoring position is ridiculous. Trey Turner should have 70, almost 100 bags a year. As a hitting champion, he should have 70 plus bags a year. Why is he not doing that? Especially when guys aren't even holding you on. They're not even freaking slide stepping.
It's that the way that they play the game now. It's that
they don't want you to get thrown out second
base
because you're in scoring position at first because this guy might hit a home run.
Yes. And listen, I bet that it is taxing on the body. It's going to wear you out a little bit. You see these guys get hurt sliding all the time.
But these guys are in better shape. They have better facilities, better training, better working out, better, cryo crap and all this, oxygen tanks and all. Dudes back in the day didn't have that shit.
Hot tub and some icy.
Did Cal Ripken have any of that stuff?
In the 70s, a little booger sugar.
Yeah. Did Cal Ripken have any of that stuff? He played 1,000,
1,200 games, 1,200 something games
in a row.
Yeah, that nobody's gonna sniff that.
Don't give me that.
I'm just saying. You hear it.
These guys are in better shape and have better access to things to keep them healthy. Don't give me that.
And they're better athletes.
They are better athletes 100% than back in the day, but they are not better baseball players.
Doesn't make them tougher either.
Does not make them tougher. Just because you got muscles and you look, athletic, doesn't mean you're tough. So,
I'm with you. It's frustrating to watch guys just walk into second base. Not even an attempt.
But when you don't
practice
that, you're not going to be good at it. So if you don't practice slide steps, if you don't practice picking over enough, you're not going to be good at it. I don't know.
I mean, and so it goes back to even with the high school kids, like that's why your bullpens are so important. You know, you don't throw through the windup the whole time in your bullpens, right? You get into that stretch and you're not just throwing to a catcher in the stretch. It's not none of that. Like that's where you work on stuff. You know, if you're doing flat grounds, work on that. Well, you're playing catch. We have our guys when they're playing catch before practice and you get to, 35, 40 feet. Simulate that. Simulate throwing from the stretch. Finish your catch with 5 slide steps. Playing catch. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's not hard. Your coaches don't even have to tell you that.
They shouldn't.
It's just finding a way to work and get better. That's all. You're already there. You're already on the field. You're throwing. Our infielders always finish with, cutoffs. If middle infielders are playing catch together, their last 5 or 10 are, turn into exchanges. You're right. If you're not working on it, you're not going to be good at it. And if you don't do it enough, in Major League Baseball is obviously a different game. They play it a completely different way, but it's just hard to watch. Right? There's not a high emphasis on controlling the running game, and it's not important. And it's like, well, that's what kids see, so it's not important to them either.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty frustrating.
Yep.
But 2 games, nothing. The Braves. Game 3 is tonight or this afternoon, and it's Charlie Morton taking on Walker Buehler, and it should be another good game. At Dodger Stadium during the day. It's kind of weird. It's home. I'm assuming it'll be a good crowd, but it's 2 p.m. in LA on a freaking Tuesday instead of 2 p.m. in LA, 6 o'clock.
I'll tell you what, traffic would be better. 2 p.m.
But don't you think the environment's different in the day game?
Not in the playoffs.
You think so?
Shouldn't be in the playoffs.
It's kind of weird, right? If I'm the Dodgers, I want to play at home, play 6 o'clock.
Yeah, like why isn't the Boston game earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they haven't played a day game anyways this whole series, so.
Yeah, it will. We'll see how it goes. Dodgers, it's a must win because I think Game 4 is a bad setup for both teams, honestly. But the Dodgers are gonna have to end up doing probably what they did Game 5 against the Giants in Game 4. I mean, unless you bring somebody back short rest.
No, Urias can throw.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sorry, Game 5. I'm talking about Game 5. For the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
They might have to pull the same thing, or you bring back Scherzer, which I don't know if they do.
I don't know.
We'll have to see what happens tonight. Got to get through this one. But I think Dodger fans, don't give up on your team. I've gotten some of those messages too. And last year was 3-1, and it looked dire. And you won the World Series. So relax.
They were a little more fresh. They were only 80 games in. So.
You're right. It's true. But yeah, take a deep breath. Everything's okay. You got to win tonight. I think tonight's obviously it's a must win. So, or today, and then we can see how things play out from there. But don't quit just yet. There's a lot of outs to get, and don't forget your team was back against the wall last year and got it done. So, again, 2 p.m. I think is game time. So in another hour, Dodgers Braves Game 3 will be taking place, and then tonight Game 4, Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros. That is going to wrap up Hit or Die Live 135. Again, please go check out the store. It'll close in a couple weeks. It's on our Twitter page at Hit or Die Podcast. It's also in our bio on Instagram at Hit or Die. Please go follow and subscribe on YouTube. The challenge is off pause, so please go check that out. And again, share the podcast as much as you can. The audio portion of this has been insane. Thank you, everybody that's listening everywhere. We really do appreciate it. And that is another episode of the Hit or Die Podcast.
Hit or Die.